Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's support group through Cancer Fighters. I'm Samantha Stevenson, one of the behavioral therapists here at City of Hope, Chicago. And today's topic is partnership in the caregiver dynamic. Partnership and the caregiver role shift is something we talk about quite commonly with patients and loved ones. It doesn't necessarily just mean it is a husband and wife. It could be a mother and child. It could be a patient and sibling. Any sort of partnership connection that now has this new added caregiver role can be hard to navigate. So here we go. Many relationships will face a shift in role where one partner is called to provide care for the other, and vice versa. It can switch and the ball can go back in the other court sometimes. This shift in dynamic can exacerbate underlying challenges that have otherwise been well managed by the pair. It can be difficult to separate or balance as the roles. Um, it can be difficult to separate or balance the roles as loved one and medical liaison. Most partners have not been trained to provide the kind of care necessary, nor understand the depths of what providing care might look like. Sometimes when we agree to provide care, we couldn't possibly fathom the extent of what the needs might present. So keeping your mind open to that, and the changes that come along is helpful. Yep, I signed up to be someone's caregiver. Oh my goodness, I had no idea that they would be in such a declined state, and now I'm having trouble managing my own affairs on top of being present full time with this person who needs my support. It can be surprising how caregiving affects the ways partners think, feel, behave, and communicate with each other. It's estimated that above age 75, approximately 40% of caregivers are providing care for their partners. That partnership connection is so important. I love this quote from Brenda. You have to ask yourself, outside the caregiver experience, what kind of couple were you in the first place? And that can bring on all sorts of things. What did we do well? What were the things we enjoyed doing? What were our challenges? Okay, some of those challenges might be more intensified now that we have this added role of caregiving. Um, Maybe we're not getting to the things we once enjoyed as much because now we have all of these appointments and things taking priority. How do we make sure that we stay connected in the things that we enjoy doing? Let's make sure we get out and go for a motorcycle ride together or walk. It may be helpful to consider the things that make your partnership unique and fulfilling to you. Consider your partnership values. What is important to us in our relationship, which may change as you get into treatment. Our priorities kind of shift. So it's a good conversation to have. How might we maintain those things realistically? The things that are important to us. How do we maintain those throughout treatment? What roles do we fulfill in the relationship prior to a care need? Okay, how did I serve as partner before? What of those things might I not be able to do anymore? What supports might we need in place? Okay, who can I rely on outside of our partnership to help support us in this role that has now changed? What are our challenges prior to needing care? Again, reflecting, what did we struggle with before that we're probably going to struggle with more now? And what can we do to prepare for those challenges? Considerations for maintaining partnership. One part of this would be emotional weight. There's going to be a lot of different considerations that we'll go through in the following slides. This one specifically talks about the emotional weight that caregiving can bring to our relationship. How long might this experience last? I personally know that my threshold for distress is about 3 weeks. Then I really start breaking down. I need extra support at that time. I only know that through experience, so you may come to know your threshold. What might the end look like? Maybe the end looks like we finished treatment and now what do we do with our life? okay, on the other side of treatment, maybe we like to do different things. Maybe the things we used to spend our time and energy on just don't serve us anymore. Um, what does the end look like? And of course, maybe that looks like, will this person still be here? Where does that leave me? Could I lose this person? How can I maintain my own identity? Oftentimes, we can get lost in caring for someone, and that can be anyone, a parent to a child outside of a medical need. Um, how do I maintain my own identity? Make sure you're still doing things that fit for you, explore yourself, take time for yourselves, patient and caregiver. Mourning the roles. As roles shift, a person in the partnership may have to mourn the role that once was. Okay, for me, I was super independent before I went through treatment, raised by a very independent mother, and we could do anything. I can fix my own stuff in my home, mow my own lawn, and I really enjoy it. I love being active and engaged. When I went through treatment, I wasn't able to do some of those things. I wasn't able to maintain the social connections and schedule things like I had previously, nor did I have the energy to. So there was a bit of mourning, like a grief and loss of the life that I was used to. And it was okay because it humbled me to grow into areas of myself that I probably could have grown into anyways, learning to spend more time being present with myself and being still. It's hard for me, but it was a good thing that I learned through it. What might be some of the things that you feel you mourn as your roles that you've taken on in your relationship and how that might need to shift? Maybe it's just giving this piece of something to someone else to carry for a while. And that can hurt. That can just feel heavy and sad and uncomfortable. It's okay. So the care provider and the supportive partner are kind of the two different roles. If you can find a way to kind of differentiate between those two in this journey, great. And that can look like a lot of different things. So the care provider role is maybe taking notes, managing medications, providing assistance, those kinds of things. The supportive partner role is maybe active listening, physical connection. And it's not about, intercourse, but can we just hold someone's hand? There are lots of studies out there that show a decrease in pain by just holding the hand of a loved one. Maybe it's eating meals together, things like that. So maybe there's a visual cue, or you both just stop and take a pause as you enter or leave the hospital setting, the facility, whatever it is, to say, okay, I'm putting on my care provider hat right now. I'm going to jump into this role. And when we leave, we'll take another pause and I'm going to take that hat off and we're going to focus on our partnership together. And it could be, again, a physical hat that you're taking on, taking off a pin, wearing earrings that designate it, some action. It could be just enough to stop and pause for you both to say, all right, we're leaving the facility now. Partnership role is on. Caregiver burnout, of course, it can be hard for caregivers to even recognize that they're burning out because they're so focused on providing quality care. Other people might notice, and to be a caregiver who's doing their best, it can feel a little abrasive sometimes to be like, hey, we recognize you're not doing very well. Can we step in to help support you? But just be open to that feedback from people. And I always like to encourage patients and families to say what you see. So that might be like, hey, I noticed that vein popping out of your forehead right here. It looks like you're concentrating really hard on something. I'm here if you want to share. And maybe they don't even recognize that they're stressed about something or um, that they've kind of been in their own head. So it can kind of be a real gentle wake up call like, oh, yeah, I guess I have been feeling heavy with this thing. Mental, physical, and emotional stress are all part of that caregiver burnout process. If we're taking on too much, maybe we're not sleeping, we're not firing on all cylinders, we're not functioning, we're more irritable. You can see things happen in other areas of life. Those negative impacts without self-care. So if we are putting our own care needs behind us as a partner, as a caregiver, um, we're going to see the negative impact of that if it goes on too long. And same as the patient. So if you're the patient, you can have burnout too. And what are some of the things that we can do to alleviate that? How can I refocus my thoughts and energy on something different to just give myself that break from the weight of treatment? One of the options is using social supports for self-care. Social supports are they can be emotional, like, just someone to talk and bounce things off of, and differentiating, right? Because us as humans, we want to fix things oftentimes, and I've absolutely had to ask people when they come to me, are you looking to vent right now? Do you need me to listen? Or do you want me to provide feedback? So then I know what they need from me in that moment. And they might not be able to just verbalize that on their own sometimes. Maybe they don't know. So ask. Uh, Social supports can look like companionship. Will you just come along with me to my appointment? I don't really need you to jump in and do anything. I just want someone to be there. Cool. Social supports can also be something tangible. So maybe it is connecting through texts, phone, video, things like that, events. It can be informational. So maybe you're looking at a support page on a website and you're just reading up information of how other people have coped through this, and that can help you develop a plan for yourself. Common problems that we run across are feeling alone, like no one around you understands what you are dealing with. Again, this is for caregiver and patient. So it can feel quite isolating. We've never been in this position before, and maybe we don't know anyone else who has. Feeling overwhelmed by how many things there are to do each day, week, or month. Okay, we're managing life, we're managing work, and now we're managing care. Whew, that can seem overwhelming. And many people I've talked to feel like it feels easier to do it by myself. Like, why do I have to figure out this plan and delegate to people and they're going to do it wrong? It's quite a common theme to just keep doing what you feel like you're used to doing, um, which can be counterproductive sometimes. In those cases, social supports to explore would be, again, connecting with others. Maybe it's referencing a support page where you can find validation for what you're going through and ideas of things that have helped others. Share tasks. And this can be hard to do if you're the independent person like me, allowing people to step in. I like the last one, raise your hand. Maybe you don't even know what you need, but you can just say, like, hey, I'm struggling. I don't even know what to do, and let people assist. How to stay connected. Us as humans, we need social connection, we need engagement with others to be well. And sometimes that human connection can get lost in the patient caregiver dynamic. Not on purpose, but we're just overwhelmed. So it's really important to be mindful of that human connection space. That looks like eye to eye contact, offer choices to acknowledge and include, sitting facing each other. Maybe you've had an experience in a physician's office where they're preoccupied or rushed or whatever it is, and they come in, they don't even look at you, and they have the chart, and they're like, okay, so this is the stuff that we need to go over, and then this is what we do about that, and great, so we'll see you in 6 months. And you're like, wait a minute, you didn't even look at me. I'm here. That can happen in our own personal relationships too when we feel overwhelmed. So just be mindful of maintaining that actual connection, have the conversations, take time to look at each other. Other ways to stay connected is learning about the ailment and ways to support. There's lots of information on the internet now, even with AI. So you could seriously do a Google search and say, what do I need to do to support someone who is suffering with whatever it is? And it will come up with a pretty good list from all sorts of different areas of things that you can do. Maintain a healthy perspective. It is absolutely okay to go to a dark place, to be sad, to be depressed, to be angry. All of these emotions have a place. All of those dark thoughts have a place. It's just important that we don't live in that place. So, flexible thinking, adapt your approach, a positive attitude and focus, practicing gratitude. Those things all help cognitively keep our brain practicing healthy ways to think. It's very easy when you're faced with a serious medical condition to be swept up by the anxiety, the information, the overload. Um, and you can kind of shift into living in that state sometimes. So that's why this practice is so helpful is we're retraining our mind and body to focus on other things that it's possible. It's work, but it's possible. Communicate, not just verbally. So sometimes if we don't have the words or we're not used to using emotional terms, we just don't have that dialogue. It's okay to develop a system with your loved ones to say you need a break, a timeout. Maybe it's, hey, when you notice that I go into this room and close the door, that means I really need some quiet time. So it can be visual cues and be honest. There are kind ways that we can tell our family what we need. Um, if we don't and we pent that up, it can usually come out as an outburst, and then we're left feeling kind of like, oh, that wasn't so good. So it's really good to be open and honest. And you can work with somebody to figure out what does that sound like to be kind and letting them know what I need. Maybe it's writing it down. You know what? I've been struggling with this. Um, I understand it's really important for me to eat, but it seems like everybody's only talking about me needing to eat stuff and it's putting too much pressure on. Can we find a different way? Things like that. Setting boundaries. Boundaries are hard and it takes work, it takes practice. We're going to slide back on our old habits, but boundaries might be very important along your journey. So, you know what? To maintain my partnership connection with my person, we are going to carve out 2 p.m. on Tuesday nights for an hour, and we're going to shut our phones off and we're going to disconnect and we're just going to do something together. Okay, cool. People might feel very nervous about that as your loved ones, and you can describe to them why it's so important and that they don't have to understand, but they can respect your boundaries. Let help happen. Lots of people want to love on us as a partner or the caregiver. They want to step in, they want to contribute, allowing them to do so. Even recognizing that it's not going to be perfect the way that you like it. It's going to be uncomfortable for maybe you to step away from your partnership for self-care. Uh, it's still okay to let other people jump in and help. Know your value. It's tireless work sometimes to provide that kind of support for a partner. So know your value and what you bring to the table. Sometimes just sitting next to each other is enough. It's so valuable. So don't lose sight of your value. And keep connected with yourself. Again, taking a step away to do the things that bring joy and peace to you are important, even if it's small. It's okay to take a step away. Stay connected with yourself. Redefine intimacy. Some people feel the pressure of intimacy and we don't really talk about it. It's kind of a stigmatized topic. It's not like we're sitting at the dinner table having discussions about intimacy, right? And maybe some people are, which is great. Um, but intimacy might look different as you are enduring this patient caregiver role. Sometimes our loved ones are afraid to engage in touch with us because they don't want to hurt us, they don't want to cause us any other stress, which can feel kind of disconnecting. And then as the patient, maybe you feel uncomfortable. You don't know if it's safe to engage with your partner. And we're not just talking about intercourse here. We're just talking about connection. So maybe it's just caressing each other's skin, sitting next to one another, a long hug, dancing cheek to cheek. Whatever intimacy makes you feel connected with your partner is very important. And that might change through time. The physical and emotional connection, again, this kind of ties into the intimacy connection. It's not about intercourse, but it is about connection on that physical and emotional level. We have sexual health therapists here who really help patients and loved ones navigate through some of these changes, even body image changes. So, as the patient, maybe you're not comfortable with your body, and I don't really know how things feel safe for touch. Let's work through it together. We need physical and emotional connection as a human. Physical and emotional connection provides comfort, stability, and strength in challenging times. It also releases hormones that can have a soothing effect. Many experience shifts in relationship dynamics as caregiving duties take precedence. So, balancing care and personal relationships can be very difficult. Emotional exhaustion can affect our physical and emotional connections. Many partners express uncertainty about how to maintain intimate connection while providing care. Ways to stay connected, again, prioritize communication. If you're not good with words, write it out, send an email, let them know what feels safe for connection. If you miss that connection, say, I miss that connection. How can we work towards that? Foster independence. Sometimes as we go through this patient caregiver dynamic, we feel really unsteady as the patient or the caregiver. And whenever we feel like uncomfortable, we might cling to our support person. Like, that is my safety, my comfort. I need them with me 24/7. Like, I just can't without them. That can feel very intense for the other partner or both of you to be so drawn in that we forget we also need to maintain our independence of one another. So, carving out that time to find comfort in other areas or people so you can do your own thing. You can allow space for that other person. That might be developing your own coping skills. So, oh shoot, I recognize I have a really hard time even when they're out of the room. I feel very nervous, anxious. What skills can I learn and practice to build my independence to self-soothe and cope through whatever may come? Practice patience and mindfulness. Again, that's a skills-based work. If you're not familiar with it, it's like going to the mental gym. It does take practice to learn patience, learn how to be comfortable with what's uncomfortable, and be mindful, connected, aware of your surroundings. It's super easy to get swept up when we're in a medical situation that takes our attention, that we're interrupted all the time. We're constantly thinking about the future. Ooh, is it hard work to sit and be patient and mindful. And number four, self-care. What brings you joy, happiness, relaxation? Do you take time out to just paint your nails or go get a haircut? Things like that. That can really help foster our physical and emotional connection when we feel comfortable with ourselves. Oh, we're much more breathable to others, much more able to maintain our partnership connection. Connection with self. So again, it's going to be really important that you stay connected with yourself and maintain your own identity. Respite care can help. So again, taking a step away if you feel like you need a break, or honestly, if you don't feel like you need a break, it's still important to take a break away from your duties sometimes and unplug. Um, you might feel obligated to be present with your loved one all the time, to support them in whatever way. It's important to recognize that you need a break too. Having somebody to step in and provide respite care, like, hey, can you just come hang out with so and so today? I'm going to run to the grocery store or go grab a coffee. Therapy and counseling absolutely can help support you to maintain the things that you need to. It's an encouragement, it can be accountability for you to focus on yourself through it all as the patient and the caregiver. Focus on the bright spots. So again, what are the things that are good along the journey? Maybe can you see it in a different light? So the strain that this is putting us through, maybe my partner needed to give up part of this role. And although I'm not comfortable with it, it's probably a good area for me to learn and grow. Can I see that as a bright spot? Can I see that my loved ones are contributing in the way that they're able and really enjoy that? Be honest about loss. Oh my goodness, grief and loss are a big part of the journey sometimes that we have these feelings we can't quite label. It could be just a sadness, just feeling down, anger. It can all be attributed to loss. Maybe it's the loss of stability. Our schedule's all over the place, there's no consistency. It could be the loss of the life we once anticipated. Maybe it's the loss of body parts. You go through surgery and we're tender, we're wounded, we're missing whatever that is. Any one of us can grieve the loss along the way. Give yourself credit. Oftentimes, I will encourage patients and loved ones to write a letter of compassion to themselves, almost as though they were providing compassion to a friend that was describing the situation they're living into them. Give yourself credit. It is so hard for us as a human to face all of these different changes and adjustments that can be brought upon us with this kind of journey. So it's okay to tell yourself, this is hard. This sucks. I am not good at this, and I don't have to be, and I don't have to like it. Again, connect with other caregivers or patients. So find ways to feel validated and normalized in your experience. It's really hard to feel isolated, like you're the only one going through this and you don't know the way out. There is no rule book. Everyone does things a little different. In talking with other people, you can find what has worked for them and what might fit for you to try. Hobbies and interests. Make sure you're still taking little pieces out to do things of your own interest and hobbies. Maybe that looks different too. Like maybe I used to like to do flower arrangements, but I don't have access to, fresh flowers and I don't have the time that it takes. Can I imagine the flower arrangement, how I would love it with my favorite flowers? Can I do paper origami throughout the week? And then by the end of the week, I have these origami flowers I can arrange. Rest. It's okay to take the rest. You can be just as exhausted and need 15 minutes on the couch by yourself to shut your eyes. I give you permission to rest. Be silly and laugh. Laughter can be so healing for everybody. Um, and it can be really hard to find laughter along the serious journeys. So you might have to stretch for it. You might have to expose yourself to things that just don't hit the mark yet. Keep watching funny things, keep being silly. Eventually, it becomes more and more normal. Create a plan. What do you want life to look like? What would you want your partner to do if you got sick and vice versa? Are you comfortable with that? And if not, what other options can you explore? Do you understand each other's advanced directives? Are you confident in your ability to carry out each other's desires? Again, here at the hospital, we have supports to help you work through advanced directives, power of attorney, living will, um, decisions on care if you're not able to make those decisions on your own. We have staff members here who are able to support you in kind of processing through that. What is the financial component and is it manageable? So financial pieces are important when you're talking about care. Do we have the finances available to have someone come into our home and offer support so we can take a break? What does that look like? And there are lots of companies out there to help you explore that too. So you don't have to go looking by yourself to see what options exist and what your insurance plan coordinates with. There are places that will help you search for what your needs are and what will work with insurance and finances. How often will you plan to review this conversation to discuss any changes? Things change along the journey. So the plan that we create can be great with the information we have at hand, and that might change. Treatment might change, our functioning might change, it might improve, we might not need parts of the plan. So when do we review this conversation? Remember to go at your own pace. This can be an uncomfortable topic and add to strain, so maybe pick one of these questions at a time. Let's talk about this for 5 minutes once a week. Okay. When do you feel most energy and openness to discuss difficult topics? I'm most fresh right away in the morning. Maybe it's after lunch. Consider that as part of your planning. And enlist help as needed along the way. Absolutely, you can lean on any of us. A therapist, a counselor, our pastoral care representatives can help go through some of this information too. I like this quote from Belinda because it puts a different light on this kind of planning. Just like we plan for the birth of a baby, we have to plan for the other end of the life cycle. Start that dialogue. You don't have to complete the conversation today, but we can start that dialogue. Remember to celebrate what is working. Okay, so you know what? You have been called to this role in this situation, not by choice, but here we are. How are we navigating this really well? You know what? You come to my appointments and hold my hand. Hey, we didn't fall over. We can talk with our care team. You know what? We are able to have more conversations and difficult ones that we've never come across before. We're handling this awkwardness pretty well. Celebrate all of the things, big and small, of what is working. Thank you for taking the time with me. I hope you found this to be helpful and maybe inspire some conversations that you can have with your partner, whoever that may be. Here are some references, and there are additional videos on caregiver support if you need. Feel free to connect with any of us as you need support along the way. And until next time, take care.